Before I get started, I right after high school, I'm from the South Side. Went to South San High School, and I started working with the U.S. Postal Service right out of high school. Did that for a few years, and then I went and started working with HEB Warehouse. Love those jobs. They were great jobs. But when I finished college, I found something else that I loved even more, and that was teaching. And I was fortunate to 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 stay in teaching for 21 years. And when this position came up to teach logistics, it was like the best of both worlds. I get to teach, something that I really loved to do in the past. So it was really nice. So logistics, a lot of people don't understand what logistics really is, but it's around us every day. It was actually brought to light recently during this pandemic when you couldn't find toilet paper. That was a supply chain issue. Um, so that's basically what this is: logistics, supply chain management, being able to supply the public with things that they need. And it needs to get from, the manufacturer to the shelves. They say they call it from farm to fork, I guess you could say. A little bit about logistics. You can start off anywhere from about 45,000 to 50,000, and that's just coming out of college. Here, we do offer the associate's degree in logistics. Right now, you could start off with about $15 an hour. If everything goes right, that minimum wage is going to go up to 15 bucks. So I'm sure that's going to be a lot more with an hourly wage, and it can go anywhere up to about 500,000 a year, depending on your education. Like I mentioned, the logistics during COVID-19 really brought logistics and the supply chain management to light. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, it wasn't that toilet paper wasn't around. I mean, it was there. It's just it couldn't get on the shelves fast enough. And logistics is basically the movement or the management of the flow of goods, information, and other resources that include energy, people, between the point of origin and the point of consumption. Like I said, from farm to fork. Um, the supply chain is a set of three or more organizations that are linked directly um, in a flow of products, services, and finances. So basically, you have your supply chain, which is from one end to the other end, and in between, you have logistics. It's the movement of goods, people, and the placement of these goods. Sometimes it might be at a warehouse, but the way things are going now, warehouses are changing and they're becoming distribution centers more, fulfillment centers. The U.S. supply chain contains 30%, 37% of all jobs, and that's growing. Every year it's growing, especially with the popularity of e-commerce. The Amazons, the Walmarts, everybody wants they want their products not, when I was older, you ordered something over the phone, you got it, the commercial ended, 6 to 8 weeks. Nobody wants to get their products in 6 to 8 weeks. Now we expect 2 days, maybe even the next day. So that's where logistics comes in, and there's the challenge that we're seeing nowadays. Within this organization, we do go see other industries. We get to go to different companies and see how they work. And we've had the good fortune of being able to visit the new HEB warehouse. We looked at the food bank recently, and Jocelyn's going to tell you more about that too. I just want to tell you some places that you can work as a logistician. Walmart's real big. Amazon, like I mentioned earlier, and I just found out that Amazon is building a new distribution center here on the south side. So that's opportunity. UPS, FedEx, schools, police departments, fire departments, hospitals, colleges, hotels. Every one of these industries need logistics in some capacity. All right. Areas to work in logistics. We have warehousing. And like I mentioned earlier, warehousing is changing. We don't, a lot of companies now don't want their products sitting on shelves anymore. They want it out the door. So we've been learning a lot about cross docking and things like that, distribution centers and fulfillment centers that are becoming very popular now. Also, transportation is big. My juniors are taking a course in transportation, and it's very informative. We also teach you a class in purchasing. If you're a supply manager to any of these warehouses or any of these distribution centers, purchasing is very big. It's building those relationships and sourcing out the supplies that you need. And the good thing about this is if for some reason you do not end up in logistics, the skills that we're showing you in these classes, such as supervision, um, uh, purchasing, negotiations, supervision, transportation, all these can carry over to other industries as well. Um, so warehouses we talked about. In warehousing, there's receiving. Here's a receiving in hospitals. Robotics is really big in warehousing now. You need people to program these robots and oversee them as well. And that's where it's going now. Technology, like Mr. Salazar mentioned earlier, is the technology is growing. We're learning about in our issues in contemporary logistics. We're learning about big data right now, and the importance of getting that data and being able to analyze that data and making some good decisions on being more effective and being more efficient. Okay, you can learn about inventory, quality control, shipping, transportation. uh, Transportation covers motor, um, rails, water, port logistics operations, transportation, air, commercial aircraft. Like I mentioned earlier, purchasing, buying, purchasing. You can be a purchasing clerk. We also talk a lot about procurement. That's when you're going out there and you're doing your research and finding the best uh, deal and supplies that your organization needs. Okay, it is fast paced. No 2 days alike. You'll never be bored in logistics. You'll always have something to do, something different to do every single day. It always feels like you're making a difference in logistics, especially now that it's changing and it's getting a little bit more fast paced. Uh, you can work anywhere in the world. There's great career advancement, and there's always a job, guaranteed. And also there's also um, more women getting into the industry as well, and that's good to see. So logistics at Palo Alto College prepare the students for careers in the $1.4 trillion supply chain industry. You're going to study the principles and practices of logistics, anywhere from purchasing, transportation, warehousing, negotiations, and operations are all courses that you'll be taking at CAS STEM to get you to that associate's degree. All these classes have case studies, and that gives the students that real world problem so that we could solve, just in case, when you're out there in the industry, you could say, hey, we studied something very similar to that. Okay, so you're getting real world case studies. The courses at Palo Alto are case studies based. Um, we're also looking at the leading software in the industry, part-time job with industry partners. While enrolled, you can make $15 per hour easily. Like I said, that's probably going to go up in the near future. Um, we've also Palo Alto's also put together a 20 in the 2018 Operation Stimulus team. It's a case study competition, and Palo Alto finished fourth out of 19 teams and beat Syracuse University to finally make it to the finals. And we want to carry that over to our students at CAS STEM, and we want to compete. And Palo Alto wants to bring home that prize one day. So the overview of Palo Alto Logistics, you can get either an Associates of Applied Science in Logistics and Supply Chain Management, or a Level 1 certificate in Transportation Management, Warehouse Management, or in Logistics. Here's just kind of an overview of some of the classes you'd be taking: your academic core, your technical core, and then of course your logistics course. Um, and some of these are some positions after graduation: inventory planner, dock coordinator, inventory control specialist, supply manager, dispatcher, warehouse supervisor, that all pay very, very well. And right now, um, we're in a partnership with Wayland Baptist, which is using the 2+2 agreement, where you can go to school for 2 years at Palo Alto and carry over and transfer those credits to a 4-year university like Wayland Baptist. It's my understanding that Texas A&M has also jumped on board with this as well. And again, here's some salary expectations. With just an associate's degree, you can easily start off with at 45,000. With a bachelor's, 60 to 75, and with the graduates from 1,000 all the way up to 500,000. And honestly, I think that's going to be going up in the future. Okay, um, that's really it there. I want to introduce two of my students actually. That's going to talk to you a little bit more about the program as a student through a student's perspective. We got Jocelyn Maldonado, who's been with the program for about a year and a half. She was doing something else, but realized that she could logistics was better. No, I'm just kidding. But Jocelyn, we love to have her. She was a great addition to our pathway. And Joshua Bernal, has been with the program since day one. So, if you guys want to speak a little bit about the program and how you feel about the program.
So welcome to logistics taught by Mr. Rios. So what is logistics? Global logistics is the process, largely a science, but also an art of managing the flow of goods through the supply chain from the place where they are made to the place where they are consumed. Um, what activities do we do? What are some of the activities we do at CAST? At CAST, we take many field trips to industry sites to learn about the way companies use global logistics. We have visited Toyota, HEB, Saws, and the food bank. Learning about the details that go into everything that these workers do is always very interesting. In the future, Mr. Rios does plan to do more site visits to places like TJ Maxx warehouse, the Amazon distribution center, and etc. Students always look forward to meeting and getting advice from industry leaders and maybe even potential internships with these companies. Mr. Rios has made a goal to make more site trips when this pandemic hopefully soon ends. These are pictures of some of the field trips we have taken. Um,
So my experience with logistics, I've had no complaints. Uh, Logistics is a very fast-paced course. So we have typically about 2 to 3 assignments each week, and you kind of learn based off that. And some of the field trips we've taken, for example, HEB, they've actually taught us some interviewing skills that I actually applied into my real life instances. And they also gave us a tour of the warehouse. I've seen things that I didn't think I would see in my years of high school. Thank you.
Just for the new students that are or students that potentially new students that are thinking about coming to CAST, it's a great high school. The staff is great. The ratio of teacher to student is really low, and that's always very helpful. And I've never seen more passionate teachers or facilitators that I've ever seen, in all my years of teaching. They're all in. That's all I got to say is that they're all in, and the success of the students is our success, and we strive for success at all times. So, if you have any questions about the logistics program, please feel free to contact me or Miss Triplet can give you my information.